In this video, we're going to spectate a bronze 1 support that's been stuck in bronze and kind of got out of, went into silver 5 once and then back down into bronze. So they're just wanting some tips. So I seen this and I decided, hey, maybe I can give my little bit of advice and maybe help them move out of bronze. But you know, who knows? I just know I'm limited. I'm only gold myself, but I think sometimes any advice it can be helpful for people to have. So and if somebody looks at it, we can see things. So, you know, I'm going to look, and if you guys are out there watch the video as well, go ahead and leave some comments down of maybe some things that you see, or you know, if I say something wrong, you know, let me know. Maybe I don't give good advice, but I just want to try to help them along and see if we can get them to help ranking up. So let's go ahead and check out this video. Okay, little orb there. Okay. Okay. So I think you heard the Sombra here, and then you just started blasting the heals out. So, and you know, yeah, there's nobody there to heal. So, good orb there. So just watch out. You don't have to heal here. You can go ahead and do damage, focus damage. There you go. Okay. Okay. Probably here. You probably don't want to just walk right in front of a. I mean, he's low and everything, but you probably don't want to walk right out in front of the tank. So I would watch that. Maybe move. Don't. If you're going to do it, move a little bit. Don't just walk straight ahead, because you know, obviously you got the rock, you're now half health, but they're on their way out, so your team's pushing, so it's still pretty good. But just be careful of that, because you know, in other circumstances that can really hurt you and you know, put your team down one. And okay, I like the way you chased them down. That's pretty good. All right, there you go. So here, yeah, I would definitely okay, so let's talk about the orb throw here. You're throwing it in the hopes of getting someone. I always, when I try to throw my orbs, I like to try to make sure I'm getting someone, you know, because you want to maximize that damage. And also when you're just holding down heals, if they're just a little bit healed, all you have to do is do a little bit of a heal, you know, just for a second, because Moira's heal, if you do a little bit for just a little heals, it has a heal over time, so you might want to do that. So, and so like right here, I would definitely be looking. You had the right idea to come up here and look for damage, but you didn't know where anybody was, so I would just kind of watch that and try to find the damage. So here, okay, there you started looking for the Sombra, but you were out here in the front unprotected. You probably should have moved back with your team since there was the Sombra, and then help look for them there. So you did a really good fade out there, but it's you wasted a cooldown there, and you were also at lack of awareness because the team was still coming back, and so you put yourself out there in a vulnerable position. So be careful on that in the future. So let's keep on going. So, okay, be careful with that Reaper there. Okay, so we look here. Your orb's over here to the right, but Zenyatta's to the left. So who are we getting with this orb? So that's something that you'll notice if you continue watching, is your orbs, the way sometimes you throw really good orbs, and then sometimes you throw orbs like this one, which is going to get you 0 value. So if that orb was here by the thrown towards the Zen, then you would have been, you know, the orb would have been getting him right here, and you would have been gaining some ult charge as well. I just think just be careful and watch, and I'll point out a couple other times I think in here that you throw some orbs that are kind of just get zero value, and that's one of the powers. That's the power of Moira, is that you can throw these orbs and start putting pressure on people and make them move and not just be able to stand there. And it also help you take this Zenyatta down just a little bit faster, because if he was looking at you right now, you might be in trouble. I mean, obviously he's looking somewhere back at your team, but he's not looking at you. But if he was, it could have been a problem. So just watch that orb problem. I mean, because you can sit there and see there's no, I mean, he ultimately dies, but once again, okay, healing nobody. So watch your heal. Watch your heals. Okay. Okay, decent orb. Okay. Okay. So in this scenario, why are we? You're here. He has the payload. You have two back there on the payload. Maybe you're looking for the Sombra. I don't know, but you're here. And you're doing nothing, so you have downtime, and you don't want that. As Moria, you want to be here getting ready to throw another orb, right? You want to be up there with your team getting ready to throw your next orb, so and be able to be damaged. Or I guess you could have went back with your team, but there's two. They should be able to handle the Sombra. If they don't, your spawn, is not too far. Your spawn is now right here anyway. So you should be right here. So even if they do go down, it should be fine, but they should get that. And if you got up here and figured they needed help, you could always fade back if need be, but you want to definitely be up here getting ready to be able to throw some damage orbs, right in this area. See, right here, we're healing. There's no reason to heal, okay? There's no, so right here, everybody's stacking on the cart. This right here, it's not making the cart move that much faster or anything. See, you had the right idea, so you should, right here, okay? They did get looks like they were AFK. But see here, since that's happened, you should have been up here earlier and had that thrown already. So once again, that's a good orb throw. But you're healing, you should be healing right here. There was no, you turned around to check, which is good, but there was no healing to be done. So you should have been up here maximizing damage. So I think in this scenario so far, I can see you could damage. You can do a lot more. You could damage a lot more. So you definitely could do a lot of damage. And I think there was another one I wanted to, oh yeah, on 209 you threw an orb here, and I think I just said it was a good orb, but I was thinking there was still somebody there. You threw the orb and then turned around, and maybe you were just trying to help your team, but really there was nobody here to throw the orb. So this is one of those, I mean, you threw the orb and there's nobody here. It's not going to hurt in this scenario because there's nothing else going on, but just it shows to me that you're just not aware of kind of what's going on. And that's one of the things that you need to work on, I believe, is doing a little bit more of awareness and know what's going on. I think your Widow is just AFK right now and gets taken out easily by the Sombra. And you probably could have went back here and helped, because I don't know what Torb's doing. Torb should have been on the payload's just now opening up, so it's still going through the animation, so I still think that's fine. And here, you do a really good ult here. I think it's a good ult. Here, you followed up nicely, I think. It's good, but the Mei was running right next to you. You probably could have got her. Right here, once again, your orb placement is, Sombra's going this way, it goes here. The Mei's back here. I think if you would have hit the wall right to the left of here, you would have could have bounced back and got that Mei just a little bit more. All right, let's keep watching. So like I said, just there, it could have bounced back and got the Mei just a little bit more. Or you could have, instead of getting here, you could have maybe switched over to the Sombra.
The milk of human kindness has spoiled.
Okay. All right, that's another. So let's look at that. let's go back real quick and look at that where you throw this orb right here. So you throw that one, which was no reason to really, but here you're going to throw your orb right here. So, and here's where I would have thrown it, and to get just a little bit more value out of it is, see, your orb is going to go directly into this room, and so your value is right there, just there. As soon as it gets here, as soon as it gets right here, you lost. There's no more value that you get out of that orb. So what would have been a better spot to throw it at would be potentially throw it here, right? Somewhere here, and then that way the bounce off would have came back across and probably hit them a little bit more. So just to get a little bit more value out of your orbs. So that's what you're really trying to do is Moira, is to get have that orb hit and stay in contact in a position to get people. Okay, you don't have to keep holding there, just a little bit, you'll be fine. There you go, boom, stop, right? Okay, there you go, watch the Sombra, good. Okay, so probably should have healed healed there over that, that's good. So just watch your healing, you know, you need to heal. Okay, now you can stop. Yeah. Okay, now move up. There you go. Okay. I think that was pretty good to go in and get the kill. There was so just when you do that in fade in, just make sure that you are not fading in to and there's more enemies there, so that the Zen was by themselves, so that was a pretty good fade in. But if it would have been this scenario and a Zen, that would have been bad. You would have faded in and you would have gotten taken out. So you got to watch that. Okay, here we go. Way to get back out soon. Okay. So yeah, so good healing. Now here the Reaper is going to come up behind you. I know he's hard to hear, but you take a couple of shots. Look, there's 2 shots, and you're not getting hit from anywhere in front of you. That's your teammate here. So sometimes your awareness, you need to work on it and know that there's a Reaper right behind you and react to that, turn around, and the Sombra's coming. And you're ultimately going to just never turn around. So, and you're going to get blasted and die. Not saying you wouldn't have lived or you wouldn't have died, but if you would have turned around sooner, you could have potentially, you would have been able to see them, and you would have been able to. So right here, you're taking damage. You throw a damage orb. You're taking damage, right? You threw a damage orb. Is that correct? Or am I wrong? Let's see. Boom. Get shot, you're half health about, boom, throw a damage orb. What would have probably been a better thing to do is just literally look down, or even here, throw a healing orb so it'll bounce back and forth in here, or it'll bounce back and up and down. So if you just look down here, boom, now you got a healing orb, you turn around, and now you can move back and deal with this Reaper. So definitely watch your awareness there, because if you'd have thrown a healing orb versus your damage orb here, you could have potentially stayed alive here. So just something that you need to keep in mind as you continue to play and try to rank up. So a damage orb, you know, or healing. See, I think a damage orb would have been better there, because now then you could get over. But see, it doesn't even really heal anybody, but it would have damaged that team. Okay. Okay. Watch your team over there, really low. Team's low. Okay, Kirio's got it. Kirio's got the heals. All right, you faded. Okay, ult is okay. I think you're just trying to win the match, but I think I would have held it just a little bit longer, just in case, because you hadn't quite yet got the point yet. But I think overall it was decent. Staggered them, put them at a disadvantage. I like that. All right, so this is your defense now. Let's go check this out. Okay, good. All right, it's a good, pretty decent orb trying to throw there. Okay, looking for damage. It's good. Going heals. Once again, watch your over healing. Healing your targets when they're full health.
Your assistance is appreciated.
Okay, decent little flank here, I think. Okay, now right here, boom, right here. When the moment you threw the orb, it's okay to damage because it's mercy. He's like, see how much health he has. So now he could come in here, and I just think I would have just went ahead and started damaging the mercy to help finish them off, then heal, because then you're not wasting the resources there. So, and then you just left him hanging. So your team's up here doing pretty well. He's low, you're low, but I think you left Genji hanging. So I don't know if he ends up dying or not here, but he might get out. So he gets out. So that's fine. No, Genji ended up getting him, but I would have kind of stayed over there to help him, I think, instead of fading out. Because you got Kiri's over here, got these heals for now, and you could have helped out your teammates. So just be aware that to not leave teammates hanging if need. Even though that was a bad spot, maybe, but you're already there committed, and then you commit out, and then he might make decisions to stay there instead of getting out. Unless you communicated that you're getting out, just keep that in mind. Okay. Okay. So once again, you throw a damage orb here, which it goes through him, gets like 2 seconds on the tank on Ryan here, and then it's going to go out here. See, I just want you to see these. Oh, dang it! See this orb. So let's see. And it gets there, but okay, so everybody runs in here except the soldier. So if you would have thrown that damage orb or healing orb, you could have done either one you wanted. In here, just look to the ground, boom, and that orb's just going to bounce up and down in here, right? And what you would be able to do now that this Ryan would have been in here taking damage, or if it had been healing, you would have been getting healing. Either way. So just keep that in mind instead, because you threw it out there and it got a little more value, but you could get all the value by putting it in this room, especially when Ryan's in this room. Okay. Here, you need to throw a healing orb quick. There you go. Good job. Okay. Maybe a little sooner, but I don't know if it'd matter. I mean, because your Zarya is right there. But either way, good team. Now get out. Now get out of there. If you don't die here, it's because you're in bronze. Because if you're in any other elo, I think, or either you're going to, this soldier's going to turn on you. And Ryan's going to just turn around and hit you a couple times. And they have a healer right here that's just hasn't gotten back yet. So you just get out. There you go. Okay. Okay. Good job. Okay. But see right here, look. See, look what you're doing. You're leaving, right? Okay. They don't have anybody that can one-shot you. Okay. You're back here. You're leaving. You're going to your team, and that's fine. But before you do, you got Torb here. Maybe support him a little bit. Right here, throw an orb. Boom. goes down here, gets Rhine, maybe bounces off here, gets it. You're getting damage and building alt charge. Okay, but you just take off running. You leave in Torb, which Torb probably doesn't need to be there anyway. But for you, throw the orb and just back off and let the orb do some work. Okay, but now you're going to check your team, I guess, and see what you do next here. Okay, you come back, but the Torb's out there. That was kind of on him. I wouldn't be on him. Boom. Now, big slam, good slam from the Rhine. Okay. Okay, way to get out. Now throw damage orb. Okay. So once again, your orb, just throw that orb a little bit to the left there. Just a little bit more to the left and it bounces off. Okay, let's pause here for a second. This ult. Let's talk about this ult for a second. This ult right here, right before that, I think you did some good plays, but this ult right here, there's no reason for it. Okay, I don't know if you're just was thinking you were going to stop them, but they've already captured point. Okay, so what's your benefit here of throwing this ult? You and Kiri are the only ones here. Okay, so you throw this ult, they can easily just move out of the way, and they've already captured points. So you're not stopping anything or anything like that. And their spawn, once again, is right here. So even if you do kill them, one of them, they're probably going to be back before your team even gets back, or maybe right at the same time. So you're not creating any advantage for your team or putting any pressure, meaningful pressure on them. Even if you bait out cooldowns now, it doesn't matter because your teammates are way back here. You got Genji coming up. Everybody else is way back there. Your tank and Torb are way back there. So you're not putting any meaningful pressure. So it's just a wasted ult. So be careful with your ult usage. There should be a good reason that you're throwing it. And in this reason right now, it is very bad, because right now it's 2. Even if you got in there to fight, it's 2 on their 1, 2, 3, and their 4th one's coming. Where's the 5th? 1, 2, 3. Okay, and soldiers died. So it's 3 on. Well, you're on 1 on 3 right now because Kiri's not really in this fight except to throw some heals. So just be careful on your ult usage there. See, and then after this didn't work, get out of there. Just get out, back up. Okay, so once again, you come in here and die. So this is what a lot of we for some reason, I don't know why I don't know if you're trying to make something happen. Sometimes the best thing to do is nothing except maybe throw a damage orb and get out of there. Okay, so even you go back here in the hopes to kill one, and even if they do, you die, right? You die and they die. They respawn here. They're going to be in this fight much quicker than you are. So even if you would have taken one out, you are now going to stagger because your tank's still not here. They're on the way. Torb's not there. Genji is here, which probably doesn't need to be right now. Really what you should be doing is back here, throw a damage orb over here, maybe come over here, boom, you can throw, because if you were here and threw a damage orb, then just get out, that would have been fine, and then come back, okay, and in here, and there's no reason to do that, what you did. That was just a poor decision, and I know sometimes we all do it, just trying to make a play, but I would suggest not doing that. I'd suggest staying right here, and you don't want to get close to a Rhine anyway. If you can get them here, it's fine. But if you'd have thrown an orb here, if it stayed alive and thrown an orb here, boom, it bounces back and forth to here, maybe hits the Rhine and their Moira. Okay, so just be careful of that. Try not to go fade. Like try not to fade into their back line because now you're stuck, no matter what. Now, if you was to have reset that play and came back here and flanked and got the mercy, you could have flanked. Oh crap! When things go bad, fade out, right? So use your fade. Think of your fade. Like think about like I don't know if you know like Kiriko. She's real good at flanking because she could boom boom hit. Things go bad. Look over here. Boom. TP out to whoever's over here. But it's all timing. You always wanted something to there. But if you want to put pressure, you could have done that easily instead of fading into the back. Just give yourself some time for your other team. If you want to come over here and try to get damage, that's fine. Hit it up here, throw a damage orb, and then if things go bad, you can fade out. So just keep that in mind. Don't try to get into their back line because that's not going to be good for you, especially if you don't have fade. If you're fading in there, the results in most, I think, just about every rank, you're going to end up dying there. So just be careful in there. Now the problem is now you're down. What that play happens is you're down. Your team's now. You started down, and now when your team comes back, they're going to be down one more, right? Because you weren't there, because you tried to make a play when there was no play to be made. Right. So you're staggered and your teammates are still coming back and you're not even going to be in the fight because you're staggered. So now your team's down on a 4v5 and you're coming back. Okay, there's an ult and there's an ult and there's another ult. So check. So let's look at that. Let's look what just happened there. So you're coming back. You used your ult. So think if you were there in that fight, in this fight up here. If you were there in this fight that just happened up here that died. So there's one ult, two your ult, and then another ult. So what you could have done, so your team gets wiped here. And I'm not saying it would have helped or not, I don't know, but just think about if you would have not used your ult back there, not died, and what you would have been when they were throwing their ults, you potentially could have maybe tried to counter ult. I don't know if it would have done anything, or, maybe it would have ended the same, but, things that you could potentially have done if you wouldn't have wasted it there. Or you could have okay, this is a team fight that's lost. You would now have your ult for the next fight, or you could have used it up there, maybe killed the soldier before he got his ult, or killed him during his ult, or whatever. So there's a lot of things to keep in mind on your ult usage. So there's a lot of times you don't want to save it forever, but you don't want to waste it either. Okay, so it's finding that balance of what works, and you can see here using it on a lone team by yourself is not the way to go. I think you might have been a little better off if you would have waited. Okay, let's see where we're at 907. Okay. You throw your orbs. Throw your orbs. Nope, see, there you go. Yeah, throw that orb. You can always do that. Always throw that. Keep the orbs. You keep them out and you get them. Boom. Good. Okay. Now this fade, I think it might be all right. I don't know. I think it kind of worked, but if this Ryan would have been not worried about the tank so much and would have just turned around, I think he would have got you. And this soldier is just not paying attention till later, would have got you. So I think it works in this instance, but be careful of those because you faded in, and if that would have went a different way and you needed to get out, then you wouldn't have that fade. So once again, always fade out, not in. Okay, because you want to keep that cooldown. That's your lifeline. That's how you get out of when the danger comes, or when things go bad, as Awkward would say. Yeah. So this position there, I think, didn't help. So now they're going to capture. Okay. Yeah, so.
To start anew.
All right. So you're. This healing orb you're about to throw here, I see it comes up, and so
All that ails.
so it's going to go in here and get no value at all. I mean, it healed it heals the bastion just a little bit, but once again, you want to. I think if you would have hit it like right here, off of this wall, then just think about then it maybe bounces off into this way, and then heals this part of some of your team here. Or, you know, but here it's going to go in here and just go and do nothing. Now, it would have got more value if the bastion probably would have backed up a little bit. But I still think, you know, boom, here, then it bounces back into here and maybe gets heals carry a little bit. Okay, so be careful, be mindful of where you're throwing those, because it's very important to try to get as much value out of your orbs. If you're not getting all the value, you wasted this orb. Just like it healed for like 10, right, or whatever. So you want it to stay out and bounce to your team for when it's the healing orb, and then when it is the damage orb, you would want it to, like, even right here, like if you threw an orb, like let's say if you were right there, where behind here, just an example, there's 3 people here. So if you would have just thrown an orb straight back, it would hit here and then straight back to here, and you would have got the full value out of that orb, right? As opposed to maybe throwing it here and then it bounces out to here just because you've seen the mercy, right? So if it just bounced out and then came here, then you got very little value. It might have tagged the mercy just a little bit. So just keep that in mind of where you're throwing and the placement. And I think that'll help you out a lot on her, just because her kit depends on those orbs, getting the most value that you can. You might always get the max value of the orb. You might not use for the duration, but you want to try to maximize the amount of value that you're going to get in that scenario and in the space that you're at the time. Okay, good. Okay. Okay. I think this fade is okay because they didn't see you, and you got your fade back. Okay. Bubbled here. Potentially, you probably should have healed here first and then damaged just because she's low, or, you know, Kiri's here maybe. But you also got to watch out because Ryan's right here, but he's on his way out because he's hurting. This is, you know, maybe this is a good time to go ahead and damage because he's not doing anything. Maybe good awareness on your part on this one, you know. And that was just a good ult there. And got you, but ultimately dies for it. He probably should have got out. Okay, I think there's a problem that you have here too. So, okay, boom, right here, yes. So this is where prioritizing healing in damage orbs comes into play. And this is a very good example of what should have happened. Okay. You can't get to her very fast because you had just faded, I believe, right? So you're not going to be able to get up here to heal Kiri. You look, Zarya is pretty good health. She could be backing out. She probably shouldn't be here, but that's another thing. Let's talk about you here. So you got a Kiri here that's getting orbed and damaged by the Moira. So, okay, so you opt to throw a damage orb. You already had it out. All you had to do, you opt to throw a damage orb this way, which could get some damage. But if you would have thrown a healing orb here, it would have healed Kiri, bounced back off of this way potentially, and then came back and healed some more. And then you could have came in and helped Kiri out. But instead, what happens is you end up throwing a damage orb over here, which let's see how much value that damage orb gets. Very little, really. See, I mean, it didn't do any pressure or anything like that, but yet your Kiriko dies. Your Kiriko ends up dying, and ultimately your Zarya does. So just think, if you would have thrown that, it could have potentially saved Kiri. You would have had 2 healers at that point on your tank. But instead, what happens is they push in. Genji's over here doing Genji things, which I think he's actually doing a pretty good play here. And then ultimately, you're not in a position, and Bastion should have, if he would have been paying attention, should have backed up here, and you probably could have saved him. But either way, you not healing Kiriko, I think snowballed that whole thing. So be careful of that. Okay. Okay, get out. Okay, throw an orb. Yep, that's good. Okay. I don't like this flank. I mean, I don't know what you're going to get out of it when your whole team's there. And I really think that the Genji's is probably going to die, and you probably should have just stayed up and waited for your team, is what I would have done. So basically what should have happened is you should have just stayed up there, waited for your team. Genji's already too far in the back. If he needs help, he can dash out. So I would have probably I would have waited up for my team. There's no reason to be back here. I mean, because you got what is the, you got 1, 2, 3, okay, and their tanks here chasing you 4. So you're put yourself in a situation to be on a 2 on 4 with 2 healers. But she's low. If you would have got a damage, if you would have been up here and had a damage orb, you might have been able to throw it. I don't know, the tank might have chasing you, so that'd have been a tough one. But you could have thrown a damage orb, maybe done something. I don't know. But here, I don't know if this is to play, because now you're back here, you're isolated, you have nowhere to go. It's all open, and you have a soldier and a Moira here, and let's see what happens. Okay, you ult it, and you ult it. This is once again one of those ults that maybe you were thinking that the cart was close, but it's not that close. Okay, your Genji died because he was in poor positioning. Okay, there's no reason to go back there. If you're trying to save him, and if he would have said anything, it would have been on him for being back here and not getting out. Because everybody else was getting out. He could have said, "Oh crap, get out, dash, wall climb, and get out of there." Okay, so you come back here and ult, okay, and you do nothing. You die. You did pull out the soldier's ult, which is a good thing, but you ultimately die, and now your team is going to come back and they're going to be down, right? Because Genji died, you died, so they're down. And I think your Bastion actually freaking pulls off a clutch ult. If it wasn't for that, they would have got this point a lot quicker. But now just think about, you're here with your team, you waited, now you're just down the 1. So just little things like that I think will help your team fight out, just not going and making those risky plays that are all risked and there's no value into that. Okay. And you don't always, if Genji's way back here in the back line and you think you need to go save him, don't do that. He can get out, or he needs to start playing different, and that's on him, because he was back here with a 1-on-3, and that's not good for Genji to be. And I know it was the fight before that is probably what caused it, because he started over here and then moved in and was still fighting. But when he noticed that there was nobody else, he should have just came, wall climbed, and got out. Okay, so you don't have to save all your teammates all the time, because it's not foul. You can't do that. You don't you found yourself back there, wasted your ult and everything like that just to try to save Genji or try to make a play, but it was not a good play. So be careful on those. See, now they have an ult they just used, and if you would have been back and that ult would have happened, you could have potentially been in there to help counter that out, which I think you end up killing her, which it's crazy that you walk into this, so be careful of that. That was just, but you get out here, you're front lining, so be careful of the front lining. I know you're on there, but some of your power is throwing some healing orbs or damage orbs in this scenario and just healing the crap out of your team sometimes. Okay, that's a good hold for your team there. Okay, be careful of those orbs once again, just throwing them randomly. Okay, make sure there's a purpose and a reason and, you know, somewhat of a calculation of where they're going to go and why. Because, I mean, you threw it, but, you know, there's nobody even here, right? So it's just, to me, that just once again shows awareness and, you know, but don't just launch it to where it ends up going up into the sky somewhere. Say, there it is. It just goes way up here. Okay, there's no value up here. Okay, all right. So you're going to throw this orb blindly. There's somebody over here. Maybe just seen the Mercy move over this way. You can hear people onto your left. You could either throw it over here to try to get more damage on the echo over there to the right, and you can look up here and you could hear the soldier coming in as well. So if you would have held that, because one thing that's important in this game is high ground. So now this soldier's up here on high ground. Nobody's contesting him. If you would have just waited, you could have thrown that orb. Like I would have just, I mean, you could either thrown it here, but I think I would have got the soldier off high ground. And that way you could have just thrown it straight up into here and it would have just bounced into here and it would have made him have to move into maybe a position he didn't want to be in. Okay. So just look for plays like that. Or if you wanted to, you could have seen that the tank was coming. I think it's more value on the soldier, but you've seen that the tank was coming in as well. If you would have waited, you could have now been in this position that you're in now and just potentially just thrown it like right here and it would have just bounced back and forth into here. Boom, boom. But he has a healer in here. So like I said, I don't think the value would have been as much here as it would have been potentially on the soldier, which looks like Mercy's just back here doing nothing. So yeah, it would have been better on the soldier because the soldier's now attacking, got nice high ground, and I could have pushed him back a little bit potentially. But or if you would have waited, it at least could have got in here, you know, and it could have bounced. Maybe got some on the Rhine and maybe got some on the Moira as well. But you know, once again, now you got two people going to go into this tank that if you get close to him, yeah, it's not gonna be good for you. So okay, so I think this is one of those scenarios where you might have wanted to throw a healing orb versus a damage orb, because if you go back just a little bit, Genji is low, you're healing him, right? But look how low he is. If you would have thrown you know, literally just thrown a healing orb right here, that orb could have came in, bounced, got him a little bit, and then maybe got onto your Zarya, which I think she's trying to damage, so she's a little late on the heals as well.
Adaptive circuits engage.
Okay.
Require assistance.
Yeah, and then they end up capturing. I did want to mention something here
Progress
on
is
this one,
seldom with these.
that this wasn't all on you, because this was Kiri being, but you can't, this is, so right here, I stated that it was, you know, you could have saved them. I do want to point out that this Kiri had Suzu and Swift Step, and she should have Suzu'd right here, and she didn't. So, but, you know, what if she didn't have it? Just one thing, even though this ultimately it wasn't all on you, you could have still turned this, even though they're not playing well. If you could have thrown the right orb at that time, and if she would have Suzu'd and you would have thrown the orb, that would have changed this fight. So just something to keep in mind, that it's just because you didn't save them in this point, I don't want to point out that it was all your fault, but you could have definitely helped, and if your Kiri was a little bit more savvy, they would have are quick to use the Suzu, then they could have used the Suzu and it would have been fine. So
Ready for battle.
okay,
5,
so I think here you have a decent idea
1.
of to do. Okay, but look, you
The payload.
you see people coming out here, okay. Let me watch this just a little bit more and I'll show you. But you throw the orb before they get up here. You throw the orb up here. See, how does that do all right? Hold on, let's see. Yeah. So it really gets hardly anything except a little bit on the echo. I mean, just think if you were to have thrown it potentially here, it could have got the echo before she got up, and it could have bounced back off to here to get the tank a couple times. And the tank was right there. You got out, which is fine. But once again, I think could have probably got just a little bit more value here because the echo was there. It could have got them. The Mercy could have stepped out of the, you know, could have came here, bounced back. By the time it got here, the Mercy didn't come out, but I think, you know, it would have hit the Moira. Maybe you got a little more damage on her. You get out okay, so that's good. Yeah. Good damage orb there. Okay. Okay. Okay, there was no reason to heal. Your teammates are good. Concentrate on damage. Get up here, move up just a little bit. And you can damage right here, okay? Use the cart, maybe use the wall, but watch to the right if there's anybody could be coming that way, but I think you could have moved up a little bit. There you go, you do that, but okay. So, yeah, you fade it in, try to secure the kill. Okay.
Misery made manifest.
Okay. Good orb, there you go. No, you definitely don't want to be here. There you go. Okay. So let's talk about that fade. So and I think you might have seen that there was nobody here, but there is, right? It's Moira is here, puts you out in the open. You know, I think it's fine, but probably could have faded back up this way. Maybe it would have been more optimal, but you know, and you get out, so I think it's fine. I wasn't really too worried about that now that I look at it. There you go. Good. It's in a good place. Yes, throw an orb, kill the turret. Good. See, very good. Okay. Now this is not an ideal spot to be, but because you're here, fighting, killing them. But if you would have been up here, throw, which Kiri should have healed, but that's fine. Sometimes you just get and see damage. Might not have been able to get him at that point, but you could have maybe been here to help from this point instead of letting him die. So it's going to put you down one, and then you're here at their spawn. And if she turns around and hits you and starts attacking you, that's not going to be good for you. And you got coming out the door that's, I'm not shooting you, but coming out the door here to get you, and you have nowhere to go, right? You fade it in, so you have no fade for 4 seconds. You should die here. So, and this is just bad positioning. You don't. There's no reason to be by their spawn doors at all if you don't have to be, because they just have free reign and they're going to be coming back, and then you're out here and there's nowhere for you to go. Good try to throw on the heal orb, but once again, you wouldn't have been in that scenario if you wouldn't have been there in the first place. So what's your positioning? Kind of be back by your team. You don't want to be there trying to get the kill. I get it, but that wasn't a play. It wasn't going to happen. And plus you're right at their spawn doors. So it's not going to help out too much. Okay. So now your team's down 1, and then what happens? Okay, yeah. Now your team goes down, and then you're
30 seconds.
letting them go forward. So see, just difference in play. If you wouldn't have went down there, you would have been in place to help your team out to succeed a little bit more. Instead, you went down 2 because your bastion went down, and then you went down. But if you went down, only been down 1, you could have potentially helped save the rest of your team in that scenario, I think. So in here, let's talk about this. So you're going to sit here and wait for your team, which is good. And I'm not saying don't wait for your team, but you have fade, and you want to be doing as much damage as you can. You have fade, so you could walk up here, throw a damage orb, boom, at them, get out of the way, and then get out of town. Boom, and wait, then come back and wait for your team. But just throw in damage orbs, throw when you can, and in a manner that keeps you safe, and get back, because there. And maybe you were a little timid. You could get up here and be kind of sneaky about it. Look, if you see somebody, you can always fade, right? They don't have anybody to one-shot you. Boom, you get here. Maybe throw a damage orb down that way or something. So just try to kind of get damage before the fight, during the fight, and just anytime you can do damage when there's nothing going on, because you're not getting any value. You're just hanging out. And see, they're sitting on the cart, which you could have, to the situation. And so same with them. If they would have been up here, they could have been getting damage on you or whatever. But it's just something you want to do. Try to get damage as much as you can and as safe as you can. Okay, it looks like you're about to go. Now you're just waiting. See, once again, there you go. So shoot, yeah, throw it. Throw it. Get there. Now this orb right here. Okay, once again, this is you throwing orbs to throw orbs, right? If that orb would have been thrown more in the direction you're looking now towards the Reaper, because it's going to hit this, it's going to hit the fountain here and just sky off. 0 value, right? You didn't, it might have touched the Reaper, I don't know, but if you would have thrown it straight in right now, boom, it gets on the, or even hit the ground, like straight down, like not straight down, maybe right at the Reaper, boom, and it gets him, it goes up and starts hitting the Orisa as well. You get value. Or it could have been to the point to where maybe when you throw it back here, but I think the most value would have been here. So just think about that when you throw orbs. Once again, don't just chunk them to hopefully get damage, chunk them to know, like, okay, if I throw it here, it could potentially bounce off, and how long is it going to be a nuisance to the enemy? Okay, not bad. Okay, let's see. Good flank. They just not paying attention to you, so that worked out very well for you. But except when so once again, that all happened because you flanked the back, which really kind of worked out. I don't know. I think it was a good play, and then the Reaper just makes a really good play here. So I don't know. You took out a couple. I don't know, but. Good ult here, I think. See, this is a good ult because the overtime is all right there, and it ends up helping you along with the Torbjorn ult to win the match. So that was good. You see him in this form. there, you should have faded very quickly. Not even tried to get that. Just see here, the echo. This is the awareness thing again. Echo is just blasting your team, and I mean your whole team doesn't turn around, but you know, lucky she was going for the turret, but you could have been here, boom, throw up your, you know, I don't think you already threw an orb, but trying to get her or at least ping her to let this Bastion turn around and try to get them. Right? You're lucky you didn't die. Turn around, very good. And you end up getting her, but you just walked in a straight line. See, watch that walking straight in a straight line, okay? Because when you walk in a straight line, you're easy to hit, right? So just look at it from their perspective. Let's go back just a little bit. Let's look at it from her perspective. GH, all right, there you go. And how easy you are to hit when you move straight in a line. Look, you just well, let's see. So you're just walking in a straight line, and when you come back to her, see, look, boom, you're just walking in a straight line. You end up getting her, but if you'd have moved a little bit, you might not have taken as much damage. So be careful of that, walking in a straight line. You did it on the tank in the very beginning as well, and he just rocked you. So you're lucky you didn't die there as well. So just things like that are you're going to get away with a lot more stuff in bronze because everybody is kind of still in bronze. So they're not the best. They don't have the best aim, but once you get up, the aim gets way better. And you know, even in gold, it gets there's if you're walking straight in straight lines in gold, you're going to get blasted, even though gold still is don't have the best aim, you know. But just be mindful of that. You want to put yourself in move in a way that you're not just giving them where they don't even have to move off of you to move their mouse or their joystick to hit you. You know, you want to make it hard for them. Move left and right, or you know, AD strafe. Hold on. So here, and I don't know if it would have helped, but you throw that. I think right here. You should have probably thrown a healing orb at Kiri, because the tank's low. Throw a healing orb. Could have healed her, maybe not. Nice. This tank's out of position. Good. Overall, I mean, it's fair trade, I think. It's being this close. But see, you didn't throw a healing orb, but now you're going to throw one for the Hawk. I don't get it. You should have thrown it back there, at least to help, or thrown a damage orb at that point, and secured the kill. I think the healing orb might have saved the Curio, but Curie, I don't know. I think I would have thrown a healing at that point. But, you know, it worked out. Ping the Rhine. I think I actually did ping the Rhine, so good job on that. Okay. Okay, you hear the soldier. You hear this soldier. And you don't react. So this is where, I don't know, you don't have the sound, but you hear soldier was coming up, and this is to be where now you don't know where he's at. He's jumped down, and you throw a healing orb up here, right? I think what I probably would have done if I would have heard him over here, I think I would have faded out to get cover. Because see, when you're where you were at, you heard him, and then there's no cover. So if you hear him up there, boom, at least you come over here, and then you could throw your orb, right? And I think you end up getting over there, but you fade out. But before then, you could have got out, but you heard him moving. So a little late on that, just awareness thing. Sometimes I know it's really hard to hear sounds depending on your headset or whatever, but you get them. Good job. And yes, go up. So door. Go. Okay. All right. So this is another thing with your orbs. You literally throw it over here at nothing, right? I mean, it's nothing. There's zero value here. You wait just a minute, move around here, throw it here, boom, bounces, hits here or hits this wall somewhere, boom, and look where we're at, boom, and we're doing damage. Let's see if it even gets anything. Let's see what happens with it. Yeah, see, it bounces back towards your team, and you had zero value. You threw it blindly. You know, it's nice to do that sometimes. Maybe check and see if there's somebody over there, because you don't know. But I always try to know, okay, they're going to be coming from this way. If I'm over here, I can come up here. I'm still safe. Nobody's getting me anywhere. Nobody's there. Boom, throw it here, and it's a lot better of an orb. You're going to get more value. Okay. Okay, and see, then you put yourself in a spot to where now you have to fade out for no reason, but good fade. But if you would have just thrown it here, backed up, and then came back with your team, you'd have been good, or stayed right here. You could have maybe damaged a little bit more, but you know, not okay. No reason to heal there. Do you do that too? Like you take damage, so you feel like you got to heal? I do that sometimes when Kiriko. I'll take damage and I'll just turn around and start trying to heal. So maybe that's what you do. I do that sometimes too. Okay, there you go. You get there. Okay, so that's a good one because it's even going to get back and go back and get a little value there. See, good. That's definitely a good orb there. Okay, that'll work. That what is that? Yeah, he's up there. She really couldn't have done anything about that. But I think he's waiting for his ult. Let's see where he's at now. He's 24%. So he's not waiting well. He's just up here sniping, I guess. I don't know. That's weird. All right, anyway. Okay. And you end up winning the game. But, you know, overall, I think there's a lot you can work on. And things like that. There's just, you know, you're just making some mistakes and trying to make some plays when there's not plays, being a little too risky. Some of the things I think you work on is don't overheal. If your tanks are got most of their health, you don't have to heal them. You know, they're going to be all right. You know, especially Zarya, she can throw a bubble up if she needs to. So, you know, don't overheal your teammates. If they got health, throw damage, do damage, find damage. Work on throwing the orbs in such a way as I described in the video to get the max value in that space of where you're throwing it that it's going to get. So if it's bouncing off and getting like tick tick, you know that's not good. So you think about that. You know, you want it to just every time you're doing that. So try to always throw whichever orb you're throwing. It doesn't matter if it's your healing orb, if your damage orb. If it's a damage orb, you want it to stay in contact and around the enemy team as long as you can. And if it's healing, you want it to bounce around amongst your team as much as it can. So, you know, you try and use your fade to get out of danger. Like if you do a flank, which is fine, but don't fade into their back line or fade to a flank, because I notice in lower ranks, people don't turn around to fight the Moira. But if when you rank up, if you're in the back line and you fade in, they're just going to turn on you and destroy you. So if you do a flank, make sure you have your fade, you have all your cooldowns, and you go back to your flank, and then if it goes bad, you get out. You use your fade to get out. Okay, so and it's okay to fade to secure a kill like you did on the Zen, but just be careful when you do that to make sure you don't fade and then to go kill the Zen, and then there's 3 of his teammates there, and then you kill, and then you trade, and you know, so don't want your fades to put you in danger if you're doing that. Don't stack on the cart. You know, try not to do that. I would say try not to be the one on the cart. Try to be the one that's moving up and getting in a position to do damage before the fight. That's just, you know, and that just really means since you're squishy, throw a damage orb before the fight into the enemy team wherever they're at. And then if you get too close or you feel uncomfortable after you throw the orb, fade back to your team and then get back to your team. But there's no reason to stack the cart. The cart's going to move if there's one person on it. And if you notice there's nobody on it, it's good to check. Then you get on it, but try not to be that person. Minimize your time just doing nothing. There's a lot of times you're just waiting on your team. That's once again looking for damage. So always look for damage before the fight and do it safely. Okay, throw the damage orb. You're there. Alt usage. You had some really good ults in there, but a couple of them that you threw. There was no. You got nothing from it, and it potentially lost a future team fight. Right. So you got in there. You went behind them. Killed nobody, died. The other one you used it, then you faded into their back line and died, and then put your team at a disadvantage. So one thing you want to try to do is minimize your deaths, but not being too safe to where you're not doing enough damage, right? You want to do it as safe as you can and not die. That's the whole thing. Awareness. You had a couple of times where the enemy flanked you. You were getting shot from behind, and you didn't turn around and you didn't react. That could be your maybe it's your headset or whatever, and maybe your sound. Sometimes it's hard to hear things, and sometimes I don't see myself getting shot as well. But just try to be more careful. React to flanks. Call them out, whether you're just pinging or if you're on a mic. So the things to take away for Moira is you want to maximize damage while keeping your team up. So, I'd say find some videos and watch some of your own gameplay if you have not, because that will be very helpful in you in learning to get better in the future. So, I hope this advice helps, and hopefully some people will put some in the comments down here and help you out, help out in maybe some areas I didn't see, or if some of my advice is bad and shouldn't be followed. I don't want to give you bad advice, but I'm just giving you the best advice and what I've seen and what I would have done, not what I would have done, but what I've seen that would be causing maybe your lack of not being able to progress in the game. So I hope this is helpful and you have a good day.